Ahead of the spread.
Yeah, the ball is tipped, Jose. One shining moment. Let's freaking go. Are you ready for some March Madness? Let's go.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, great. Of course, of course. There's always going to be those difficulties when you go live for the first time on our Ahead of the Spread show. Um, so, welcome everyone. It's Closing Line Values weekly show Ahead of the Spread. As you know, we've got Yesway Jose back with us after a little vacation. Do you feel well rested, my good man?
As much as you can feel well rested after being in Las Vegas for 4 days.
Okay,
So I,
yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm resting. I'm catching up on rest.
Love it. I love it, man. So, what do we got going on? You were supposed to tell me, keep me updated of all things World Baseball Classic. I
Yeah,
I
man.
gotta hear your chatter on this on what's been happening.
It has been an amazing. I think it's been an amazing World Baseball Classic. It's been an amazing tournament. I think we've seen some really fun baseball. I think we've seen some upsets. It's out of Japan, Dominican Republic, and the United States. You figured that two of those three teams were going to be in the final, but the Dominican Republic and Japan both lost in the semis. Dominican Republic lost with a little bit of controversy on a questionable strike three
Questionable
call.
call.
Yeah, so you hate to see that. But it's been a really entertaining tournament. And I think the thing that's kind of stuck out to me is just the vibe and the energy that some of these Latin American teams are bringing to the tournament has just been so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And just uh, it's been really fun. Um, I am experiencing some guilt. I am have not been rooting for the U.S. and I'm now starting to wonder if I'm a traitor to my country for
Wow.
not rooting for the U.S. Even tonight, as we record, we're awaiting the first pitch of the final between Venezuela and the United States. I kind of want to see Venezuela win. I'm not gonna lie. Uh,
Wow.
yeah,
I need to see
not
that
gonna
birth
lie.
certificate, man. What's
Yeah,
going on here? Oh,
I, you know, I just don't love this. I just don't love this U.S. team. I'm just not like the personalities of this team haven't grabbed me like the personalities of these other teams, and I'm like I'm excited to see Luis Ariz, like former Padre, in the final. I'm Ronald Acuna Jr., arguably one of the best handful of players in the league. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see the U.S. go down,
wow. I mean,
unless it happens
I
at the
kind
hands
of.
of Mason Miller. I don't want to see that.
I mean, I could kind of get it, like in sports now that you have potential conflicting, you know, fandoms when like a collegiate athlete goes pro to a opposing team, or someone from your your area where you grew up, high school or something, goes to a rival college kind of thing. So I don't know. I can kind of see what you're saying. Also, this is your last show. Thanks for being a traitor, Jose. Wow, wow.
Treason is
um,
punishable by death, apparently. No, you know
death
what?
on the pod.
You know what I think it is. I think the the energy and the joy and the excitement that these other teams are playing with. is more attractive to me than this like boring ass American team. I'm sorry, but like we have amazing players on the US team, but they're just kind of boring. And I'm more drawn to the dancing and the peacocking and the bat flips. Oh my god, the bat flips. This is the World Baseball Classic of the bat flips. So I don't know. I'm just more drawn to that than I am to like these just kind of boring Americans going to work
I
every
mean,
day, clocking in and clocking out.
yeah, I mean, I get it. Like it's entertainment, right? And now that sports are so international, anyways, you know what I mean? Like it's not like I don't know. Like whenever in sports that I don't follow enough, or even like some of them that I do, where there's an internet, like Toronto, like I was rooting for the Blue Jays at one point, and the playoffs in recent years, and I think one NHL season I was rooting for the Canucks in the playoffs. And it's like, what am I supposed to root for? A rival like NHL team that is American just because they're American over the I don't know. I think it's over kind of played. So you root for who you want to root for, Jose. I got your back, dude.
All right, awesome. You're not going to send
You
ice
want?
my way.
Oh
Sorry.
gosh. Oh, I don't want to laugh about that stuff. Why don't we? Why don't we
Switch
pivot
some
into?
gears.
I would love to switch gears right now. NCAA Selection Sunday. We did live,
Oh, is that
and
happening? Did that happen?
first off, I first off, how dare if I didn't kick you off before this, I'm kicking you off for
No, I'm
that.
definitely out now.
Obviously, it's yeah. I mean, that's two strikes. You probably get one more. Yeah, that's how it works in baseball. I think. I don't know. I wasn't watching. NCAA Selection Sunday. We had some technical difficulties going live last time, but it still worked out pretty great. I think just happened really fast. But kind of want to do a little bit of a regional breakdown because you and I have been chatting nonstop this whole college basketball season, trying to predict where teams will end up at and what team's going to make a run and this and that. So why don't we take a dive into one of the all four regions, kind of talk about some sleepers, who we have making the Final Four, best path, worst path, whatever you want to chat about for each region, anything notable, kind of thing. Let's start with the East region. So, do you want to lead
The
off with
region of
this?
death, do you mean?
Yeah, yeah, dude, I'm not happy about.
Who did
Yeah,
Duke piss off to to
I don't know, dude.
as the number one seed in the tournament? This is a tough ass
This is what I was.
section.
This is kind of what I was talking about, though. Like, I mean, look at the fives across the board. Fives. I know this is not just East, but Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Um,
St. John's,
what else? St.
Texas
John's.
Tech.
We've got Texas Tech and Vandy. We have we have insane fives. This is what I was talking about when we were talking about like I don't think 4-1s make the Final Four this year, despite Duke, Zona, Florida, and Michigan looking ridiculously good. We've got five seeds that I wouldn't be shocked if they make the Final Four. That's like that's how good these regions are. So getting back to the East though, what's you call it the region of death. What are you looking at? What game's exciting you?
Uh, I'm just gonna declare this right off the bat. I've got
Okay.
I've got. Oh, do I want to say this publicly? I said
Do
this
it.
before the season, and I
Oh
feel
boy.
obligated to stick with it.
Let's do it.
I think UCLA is going to come out of this region and go to the Final Four.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
How's that
Oh
for?
wow. That's fun.
How is that for a hot take?
I like it. I mean, the way that they played in the Big Ten tournament, that wouldn't surprise me. But injury issues, Bilodeau and Dent. So I think healthy though,
Both supposed to be
good.
100%. So that was the whole point of
Yeah,
them sitting out. Um, that last game in the Big Ten tournament. But I use UConn doesn't scare me. Michigan State doesn't scare me. Uh, I think Kansas picks off Duke, and
That's what I actually have that in my bracket. Yeah.
I think that opens the door for UCLA to sneak into the Final Four.
Interesting. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me. Michigan State did beat UCLA by 23, literally about 3 weeks ago. I know that was 3 weeks ago, but maybe should be a little bit worrisome.
Since then, UCLA has just been on fire, and Donovan Dent in particular has been on fire. So,
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit of a different
yeah.
UCLA
They're
team
playing.
than you've
Yeah,
seen before.
they're playing great right now. So, like I said, I don't think that that's too outlandish. I actually like the UCLA over UConn angle. I just think UConn is very beatable right now. So for me, I've been hemming and hawing over this whole stretch. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if an MSU or a UCLA comes out of that because I think there's going to be some upsets. I think maybe not the first round, but dude, even the eights and nines, Ohio State and TCU really strong. St. John's probably the strongest five. Kansas with crazy, probably the highest upside four. It just depends on what Kansas shows up. So I guess for me, the biggest upset, I think, I think Northern Iowa is going to give St. John's a legit run for their money. So that at a minimum, we're taking them to cover that 10.5. They like to slow things down, more methodical of a defense. So I'm looking at that. But even like the other games, Kansas Cal Baptist is going to be fun. Louisville and South Florida is going to be a
South Florida,
blast.
yeah.
Like that's going to be just a
Even
fight.
UCLA and UCF. I mean, I don't think that that's necessarily.
Yeah,
You could tell me that UCF picks off UCLA there, and I'm like,
yeah.
okay,
That's
they're
That's yeah. That's what's crazy about this region is like there's outside of a handful of teams. I don't like the four bottom seeds maybe. Um, so yeah, I think it's gonna be good. So I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Michigan State right here, coming out of the region. Homer pick for sure, but I think that early bounce from the Big Ten tournament probably woke up Izzo and that team. I'm sure he, made them run insane amounts of Red Devils or whatever the hell they're called, and they'll be primed and ready to go. That defense is going to lock down some of those teams. Offensive rebounding is going to destroy. I think that Kansas upsets Duke, Michigan State over UCLA or UConn, and then beats a Kansas team that is forced to settle for terrible jumpers. So
listen.
that's
As long as we get an Izzo Cronin face off,
I love it.
I'd
Yeah,
like
we need it.
I like dueling press conferences. I'd love
Oh man,
I as long as we get that out of this region, I'm good.
absolutely. I'm here for it as well. Um,
Is your By the way, is your bracket set?
no, dude, I've been trying to get so much stuff ready for. I do this league with a bunch of my friends that kind of gives points out towards upsets and things like that. And I was just working on that site as well as a bunch of work before I go to Vegas on Friday morning. So it's just been a really busy day, and I foolishly left Michigan out of the Final Four because I thought I had too many Big Ten teams advancing, and I had Iowa State beating them. So I just need to revisit it. I think it's foolish to leave Michigan out of the Final Four. So is yours set?
No. Do you do you do you create one bracket and go with that across the
Yeah,
board,
I,
or do you have multiple brackets?
great question. I listened to an Action Network thing about Pool Genius on Action Network, and it was talking about how you approach your various pods and or various bracket pools depending on the size of the pool and how many entries you get. Um, and usually I kind of join some of the free ones or some of the ones on Twitter or different friend groups, and I'll mix and match some of them just to kind of give me a shot at some of the other ones in case, especially in a year like this. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if any of those 20 teams or 20 plus teams make the Final Four. So I'll have one bracket that is my like that's the one that I'm going by, and then but I'll have a couple other entries at least going. But
If not Michigan State in the East, then who?
this I think that's the toughest region. Uh,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean, I
sure John
think
Shire would agree with that.
yeah, I'm sure he's got to be pissed. I'll start by saying the don'ts. I do think Louisville is a good team, but they're just don't know about Mikael Brown and just 2-3 reliant. I think they get bounced at some point. UConn as well, overseeded, overhyped. Can't wait to see that dude cry. Hurley cry. So I think St. John's has a tough stretch, but if they get past Northern Iowa, we'll see. But I think Kansas comes out of that. So it's Kansas, Duke, MSU versus either UCLA, UConn. So I'd probably say the winner of that Duke Kansas match. If it's not MSU, that's who goes.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. Uh, Before we go to another region, just checking in on that UMBC picks of the day bet that we made. We got there 14 minutes or 14 minutes left in the first. UMBC is down 3 early on, 11 to 14. Let's see how that ends up in the long run. All right, what region you want to? What got any thoughts on the next region you want to jump to?
Well, let's see. I think let's talk about the West. Let's come out west. Come out
Go out
west
west.
to a little
Go
town
out
called
west.
San Diego, where we're going to be
Mm,
hosting Arizona. This is I agonized over um
I know what game you're talking about.
Arizona and Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
First I agonized over
Yeah,
Arkansas and Wisconsin.
yeah,
And I ultimately settled on Arkansas. Uh, and then I settled, and then I've been agonizing over Arkansas, Arizona. Um,
yeah.
I think I'm gonna stick with Arizona. Um, but I just would not be shocked if Arkansas pulled this one out.
Darius Acuff, man, is just
A
an
Cup man,
absolute. He's so good.
yeah, just might end up being the best player in the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I heard on a different pod saying he's kind of like the Derrick Rose might be the Derrick Rose of this tournament. Just takes over a game and just scores at will. The electric player. Yeah, man. So when I first filled this out, like I love the gut reaction kind of stuff. I had Wisconsin coming out on top, and I've since backed that off. And I have Arizona advancing. I think this is, I was thinking back to some of those conversations we had when Arizona was just flying, and I think they can get to that level, especially out west. They'll have some good crowds there for them. Uh, I think that'll be. I think they get it done. You know, I feel bad for Miami having to go to St. Louis, Missouri to play against Mizzou. And their opening round. I liked watching Miami all season long. Those transfers that they got, like I mean, just kind of a surprise team, but that's just a brutal, stretch or brutal intro game.
I, I've got Miami in Arizona in the final for that region.
Oh, I
I've
like it.
I've got Miami picking off Purdue.
Yeah,
I don't. I just. I. Despite what Purdue did against Michigan on Sunday, I just don't. I just don't think you can trust Purdue. I don't trust Purdue, and
Yeah.
I put Purdue up there with UConn in the conversation of um, most likely to get bounced early. Um,
Yeah.
so I've got Miami taking down Purdue. I've got Miami squeezing past Gonzaga, and then I've got Miami facing Arizona in the Elite Eight.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, first off, I will not have a place to sleep if I talk ill will about Purdue, so I'm not going to do that.
Just blink twice if
Um,
you agree.
I don't know if that was three times. So I mean, look, I mean Purdue has been playing well. The I do Trey Coffin Wren shoulder injury though late in that Michigan game. You know that bothered him, I believe, last season and earlier this season. It was last season, so that's a concern. But Oscar Clough was great. Braden Smith, even Lawyer was pretty good. I mean that team was showing the glimpses of the preseason number one. I think they were preseason one. So like
Yeah.
they're good. So you know, as you know, like the biggest thing is Matt Painter. Um, Great coach. I've so much respect for him and a great leader of those kids there. But like the in-game adjustments, he might be the worst coach when it comes to in-game adjustments. That's, I mean, they could have. I feel like they could have beat Fairleigh Dickinson. Like Fairleigh Dickinson showed up, and you know this is that 16 over one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a handful of years ago, and it's like they did not adjust. They didn't change anything. I think they just, you know, and maybe that was the game plan, and they just said we're gonna stick to it, and this is how we beat teams. But felt like you need to make an adjustment. So I don't blame you. I don't blame anyone for picking off Purdue at any point. You know, after a game or two. But this one's going to be some really good matchups as well. Hawaii doesn't, they don't, they don't help. It's all 1v1. Uh, so I think that's going to be tough to beat Arkansas with the crazy athleticism. So I think Arkansas cruises there. Villanova, Utah State. Utah State drastically underseeded. I don't know if they're just know that the Mountain West has been pretty terrible outside of San Diego State's uh, run, and so you know, I think that'll be a fun game to watch. But I think realistically, Arizona gets out, and if not, it's Wisconsin or Arkansas. So I think we're kind of pretty aligned on that one. All right, why don't we jump over to the South, Florida's region? Uh, uh-oh. All right, cool. All right. Jose's gonna go play some money on Michigan State. He told me. I don't know what that means, but it seemed like he didn't want to. He's there. He goes. He's gone. So I'm on my own for a sec. I'll just kind of talk through some of the bracket on the South. Um, so I think Florida should be pretty pissed that they have Houston, to where they could see them in the what Elite Eight in Houston. So that's kind of a scheduling, a little bit of a snafu, or I don't know how that happens because that's just, you know, not ideal for a one seed to be in a basically a road game environment against the defending national championship game uh, Cougars as well. So got to be a little bit upset about it. Um, I've got I've got Houston coming out of this region. Uh, Initially, I had Illinois um, coming through, but again, had I feel like too much Big Ten. Because they're the best conference in the league this year. So, but kind of going through some of these games, some technical difficulties.
Shut up.
Uh, we've got Iowa. I think Iowa over Clemson is one of my biggest matchup advantages that I'm betting, and the line's already climbing up a little. Iowa should be able to defend well against Clemson, and I think that they cover with ease. You know, that's basically Ben McCollum's former team that he brought over once took the Iowa job, and they are very tournament savvy team. Uh, the Vanderbilt McNeese game. Oh, we got Jose back. You there, Jose?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear
Hello?
you now.
Can you see me?
Producer Nick, are we able to see Jose? Cool. All right, great.
Yeah, sorry. Jose's camera or microphone keeps breaking in and out and stuff in the camera, and I'm trying to reset the the stream feed on here, and it's all goofy right now. So apologize to everybody that's watching right now. As producer Nick, just bear with me. Tacoma's got a lot of great information to share. Go.
All right, so I think we're gonna go with Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt takes care of McNeese. The upset that I'm looking at right now is Troy over Nebraska. I think Nebraska is had a great season, but I mean we've talked about Troy quite a bit earlier this year. Jose and I have seen them put up a fight against, I believe, San Diego State even. So really overall good team. So yeah, Jose, are you there, Jose?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We're gonna get feedback from him a little bit, I think.
Well, I'm just gonna keep talking about these games until I get some feedback from the team. I think a lot of people are talking about this North Carolina VCU game, and I think that VCU is going to be a little bit undermatched here. They're a solid squad, and we've bet them a few times this year, but I think North Carolina will gets it done in a virtual home game there as well for them. So I think that's one of those underdog upset picks that everyone's kind of on right now, and I'm sticking with, I think, North Carolina advancing, and yeah. So I have Illinois. So moving down to Illinois Penn. Again, gut reaction was Illinois making the Final Four. I've since kind of backed that off a little bit. Sometimes Underwood's, in tournament adjustments haven't been ideal, but I do think that this is a very favorable first draw for them. I don't think Penn stands a chance at all. We bet them, obviously, a pick of the day that cruised for us, but they so overmatched, and I think that they take care of North Carolina VCU pretty well. We've got St. Mary's, Texas A&M, a battle between two different types of tempos and playing styles. So St. Mary's, one of the slowest teams in the nation in terms of set plays and utilizing shot clock. A&M likes to run and gun, so we'll see what comes out of that one. I think St. Mary's gets it done to play. Okay. Jose, we're gonna bring you in here. I'm gonna mute myself, and you tell me what you think of this region.
Hi. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Great insight into the South there, Todd. You really nailed it. I think we're on a collision course for a Florida Houston matchup in the final for this region. And I was initially going to take Florida because I think Florida has kind of been the most impressive team to me kind of the last couple months of the season. But that game's going to be in Houston. So I'm gonna give the advantage to Houston. Um, there just because I think it's gonna be a de facto home game for them. I think Houston gets its revenge. I also almost had Troy picking off Nebraska. Um, and I before I lock my bracket in, I may switch that. Troy's a really scrappy, just grindy team. You mentioned the game against San Diego State. They followed up a 3 overtime game where they just eked it out against San Diego State with a 2 overtime game where they lost on a buzzer beater at USC. Um, I think I think this Troy team is built for a tournament like this. So I can see Troy picking Nebraska off. I don't know that I see them getting past Vanderbilt. Um, but for now, I've got Nebraska getting all the way through and losing to Florida. Um, I think I've got Houston taking down Illinois, and then I've got Florida and Houston with a replay of last year's national championship.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, so I think a lot of the things we we talked about throughout the season kind of, you know, culminating to some of these matchups. Like I said, I think I'm with you on Florida. I had them definitely as I mean, not really a sleeper, but a number one team that kind of sort of flew under the radar for number one seed, right? Compared to Michigan, Arizona, and Duke getting all the accolades all season. So, but I think them drawing in Houston is a tough draw. So we'll see. Before we check in on the Midwest bracket, um, just checking in again on Howard UMBC, 4 point game. Relatively low scoring game so far. We'll see. Probably by the end of this in the Midwest region, we'll have a halftime score. So, Jose, do you want to lead off this Midwest region?
Let's do it. Um, you kind of gotta go with Michigan here? Question mark. I mean I've got St. Louis beating Georgia. I've got um, I've got Akron taking down Texas Tech. As much as I like what I've seen from Texas Tech post JT Toppin's injury, I think that's a prime spot for a potential pickoff. Alabama taking down Hofstra. Got Tennessee moving on. Got Virginia moving on. We've got Santa Clara upsetting Kentucky, the most disappointing team, arguably, this college basketball season. I've got Iowa State, and then I've got Michigan and Iowa playing in the finals for this region. And as of right now, I've got Iowa State advancing to the Final Four, but it could be Michigan.
Yeah, I this for me is the um, this is where the potential for those lower seeds could make some noise. You and I have talked already a bunch about Akron. The MAC tournament was kind of wild, but the Akron team's good, and they're playing up against a Texas Tech team that is hurting and not deep, and all Akron does is run. So I think that could present a mismatch issue for Texas Tech. Um, so would not be like Akron. I have winning, and I think that they could even hang with Alabama. Most of the different you know college basketball Twitter and various accounts on YouTube that we follow, uh, all of them are on Hofstra with the points, of course, and that line has gone from 13 and a half, even 14 down to 11 and a half. And some people picking a little sprinkle on the money line. So that should be fun to watch. I mean, every Alabama game is kind of fun to watch considering how up and down they go. So wouldn't be surprised if they advance. And then on top of that, Tennessee plays the winner of what, the SMU Miami game, and SMU could be getting one of their best players back. That could be an upset. Don't think Virginia loses to Wright State. I actually like the way that team plays, but again, Santa Clara, I've got Santa Clara, you know, keeping up with Kentucky. I think I got money on them on the first half money line, since Kentucky usually starts out pretty slow. Herb Sendek should have them doing well. And yeah, Iowa State's pretty good, but also they've had some troubles away from Ames, Iowa. So and then also, like you said, the Georgia St. Louis game is going to be fun as well. So I think St. Louis wins that. I've got Michigan advancing. I had initially, I think I had Iowa State coming out of this bracket, and then I'm switching it to Michigan. So that means I need to make adjustments because that has Michigan, Michigan State, Arizona, and Houston. That's two Big Ten teams, the best conference in basketball, man. So I wouldn't be surprised. So maybe I need to change that Michigan State pick. We'll see, Jose. Just we'll see. They could do it. They were beating Duke for 95% of a game. They beat Arkansas, not Arkansas. They beat UCLA by 20 something. They they can beat Kansas. I don't, it's a group of death for sure because like I said, all but like four teams could bounce Michigan State and I wouldn't be shocked. Um, but I think it's theirs for the taking, man. They the last time they played DC, they played in DC in a regional. Was in what 20 was it 19? Was the Zion year where we beat Duke, the number one seed Duke. So you know what? I'm just saying this might be the year. Okay, so don't call me crazy yet. All right. All right. Okay, so then I guess just buttoning up who you have in the Final Four and the championship game. I mean, since we got to kind of toggle back and forth with our mics, I'm gonna go with Arizona, Houston in the final. I think Michigan State can beat Houston, but I do think Houston. Kingston Fleming is just amazing. I think that Spartans might be overpowered there. Arizona, Michigan. I'm gonna take Arizona, and I haven't decided on the winner. Let's go with Arizona. Arizona is gonna win it. Finally, someone west of the Mississippi wins a championship since Arizona did it back in '97 or something like that. So that's my champion and Final Four breakdown. So Jose, what do you have for your champion and stuff? I think you kind of touched on it already, but I just want to hear.
I've got just to just to recap my final four. I've got UCLA, Houston, Arizona, and Iowa State. So I've got three Big 12 teams and a Big 10 team, um, which I feel okay about. I think the top of the Big 12. I think where the Big 10 ends up getting its edge over the Big 12 is just in the depth of the league. But I think at the top of the league, the Big 12 is just as strong as the Big 10. It's kind of funny that my only representative out of the Big 10 is UCLA, which has been which was an underperformer for most of the season. But I just think that unlike last year, this is not going to be a chalky tournament. I think there's going to be a lot of volatility, and I think it's gonna. I think Donovan Dent's going to carry that team to the Final Four. I've got Houston beating UCLA. I've got Arizona taking down Iowa State, probably on a buzzer beater again. And then I've got Houston winning the whole thing. It's Kelvin Sampson is due, and I think they went through last year, so they have the experience. They've got a lot of returning minutes from last year, and I think that this is going to be their year, and I think they're going to take out Florida in the regional, and that's how you're going to get Houston to be your national champ.
There it is. There it is. I like it. It's, like I said, man, I feel like the fours and the fives stronger than in years past. You know, and we've seen one seeds go down as, as early or as recent as the conference tournaments. Michigan losing to what was a 4-3 seed Purdue, which they got bumped up to that 2 seed for taking them down. A little bit of an overreaction. Michigan State should be there, but let's just move on from that. I think that's like factual, but like, is what it is. But like for real, these 4 seeds are strong. Like Arkansas, St. John's, Kansas, like, we talked about Wisconsin winning it all as well. Got that future in as well. So I really think we're gonna see some awesome Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final Four matchups heading into the championship. Maybe we don't get maybe we get some chalky first rounds. Maybe some of these Cinderellas and upset darlings don't come through. But I do think we're gonna get some really exciting games in the the later rounds. So that's all the time we have for this week's Ahead of the Spread. Thank you all for tuning in and bearing with us through our technical difficulties. Still working through some of the live hiccups, but overall it's a great format where we can interact with the chat and talk through any games that we have coming up. Please subscribe and comment in any of our videos. And then also be on the lookout for more picks of the day, more tea talk, more hey better better, and then also some more live breakdowns in Vegas as we break down some of these Vegas picks, March Madness picks. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Cheers. Have a good one.